What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Crypto Airborne in the house, dropping you guys the latest and greatest cryptocurrency news and updates. Hopefully you guys are having a great Monday. We got a special live stream tonight on Monday. Usually don't go live on Monday, but we got a special guest and pretty interested to hear her story. So should be a good time. But before we get into that, I'm just gonna do my typical market overview, just seeing how the market is right now. So we'll just jump right into that before I get into the interview. So just stand by, everyone. Smash that like button on your way in. Subscribe if you aren't subscribed. Really appreciate it. All right. So let me just refresh this to make sure everything's good. Maximize this. All right. So market is up 1.22% the last 24 hours. We got Bitcoin sitting at about 57,312, only down about 0.93%. We got Ethereum up 2.62%. It's at about 4,453. We got Binance coins up 1.68%. We got Solana's up 1%. And we got Cardano 0.74% up on the day. It's at $1.60. Top gainers we got the last 24 hours. We got Function X. Never heard of that one. Up 40%. It's at $1.33. We got Tribe. Another one I haven't heard of. Up 23%. It's at $1.16. Tezos. Definitely heard of that one. Up 18%. Wow. $5.51. And yeah, like I said, market's pretty green right now, so it's good to see. All right, top losers last 24 hours. We got the Deriva Dow sitting at $7.20, down about 22.34%. Ethereum name service. I've heard that before. I don't know exactly what that is, but it's down about 13%. It's at about $69. Request down 12%. It's at 50 cents. And we got, not too much down, but like I said, overall, the market is pretty green right now. It's good to see. All right. National holidays for November 29th. It's Chadwick Boseman Day, Cyber Monday. Did you guys take advantage of any of the Cyber Monday deals on Amazon or anywhere out there in the, I was going to say Metaverse, the internet out there? I actually bought a new power supply unit from Best Buy for my HS handshake boxes that are coming from Gold Shell. They just shipped out today, so I needed another 1,000-watt power supply. It's about $50 off. I think I tweeted about it. It's originally about $210, so I got a nice discount on that. But that's pretty much the only thing I bought today on Cyber Monday. It's also Lemon Cream Pie Day and International Day of Solidarity with the Palestinian people. So there's your national holidays for November 29th. All right, jumping over to the crypto bubbles. Top 100 coins. For all you visual people out there, I know a lot of people haven't seen this, but this is like a good visualization of all the top 100 coins. And you can always, set the settings here. You can put it on the daily, the weekly. You can put it like by performance and whatnot. But I like looking at this just as a visual perspective. But yeah, looks like everything's doing pretty well. You also can add your own favorites like I do. Matic up 9.1%. HBAR up 7.4%. Mana and Engine are down about 5%. Basic Attention coin or token down 7%. VGX is up. I like that. Up 4.6%. Sitting at about $4.11. All right. Jumping over to the crypto total market cap. We're sitting at about 2.56 trillion right now. So it's not too bad. It looks like, we peaked out at about 2.9 trillion. But then again, TradingView, I don't believe is the most accurate for the total crypto market cap. When you look at CoinGecko or CoinMarketCap, it's always a little higher. I know we had over 3 trillion at this point. So, but yeah, we dipped down a little bit. We had that big dip the other day, and now we're coming back up. So this is just a good thing to look at, just as an overall health for the whole crypto market. All right, the Bitcoin Crypto Fear and Greed Index. Right now we're at a 40, and if you watch my video today, I predicted a 40. So I was spot on with that. Yesterday we were at 33. But I like looking at this as, as an idea of when to get into the market. Be fearful when others are greedy, and greedy when others are fearful. All right. So jumping into Bitcoin dominance. Bitcoin dominance is down a little bit, trading sideways. We're at about 42.18. We peaked out, was this 19 October, about a 47.26, right on at a 42.18. And this is basically what I look at this for is, Bitcoin dominance is down. That's usually when it's alt season or when the alts are going up. So, and it's just been kind of hit or miss now, especially since in my opinion, we're coming towards the end of the bull run. But we can have a whole other conversation on that. I'm curious. But yeah, that's it for your current crypto market overview. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that. But let's jump into our special guest of the day. Before I bring her in here, we have Vanessa Harris. So Vanessa Harris is the current Chief Product Officer at PermissionIO. She used to work for Google. She used to work for Microsoft. And then now she is, I believe it's a new role for her at PermissionIO. She is the Chief Product Officer. So I'm curious to hear her story, how she got into crypto and whatnot. But let's bring her in. All
awesome.
right.
Hey, everyone. Thanks. It's great to be here.
Yeah.
You're doing really good.
Cool. Let me just get my screens up. Let's see if we got anyone in the audience. We got Dober Squad. What's going on? Kanita, DJ Crypto. Yo, yo, yo. What's up? We got Me's in the house. Cool.
Hi, Me.
So, yeah, welcome. How's it going?
It's really awesome. I'm excited for the interview. I also wanted to say, congratulations on the 1,000 subscribers. That's a huge milestone.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I've been grinding. Like I started my YouTube channel the end of July, and I've been trying to put out at least a video once every 3 days. And then now I'm just cranking them out. And it's crazy just to see like the YouTube algorithm and how just subscribers just keep coming now and whatnot. So, but it's a lot of like
definitely something that's inspiring, right? Because I mean, there's so much crypto content out there, and you started just recently, and you're still getting that traction, and you're growing your subscriber base. So, really awesome to see.
Yeah, and oh man, today, so I have a buddy, six fig stock trader. He's about to hit 10,000 subscribers. He's in a technical analysis and whatnot, but he has really good thumbnails. So some of the feedback that I know personally that I suck at is my thumbnails. So what I've been doing the last 2 days, I subscribed to Adobe Photoshop. So I've been it's so much. Like I've been trying to like work on the thumbnails and editing.
There's got to be a service out there like guaranteed extra views, and they just do a cool thumbnail for you for every video.
Yeah, or when I grow, maybe I'll just have a team that does it for me. But right now I'm just a one-man show. So, but yeah. But yeah, I just want to jump into, I'm going to tell you a little bit about my backstory, and for the audience, you guys listening, just brief summary. If you watch my first video, I tell my whole story. I think it's pretty unique. It's crazy. And then we'll just jump into your story and we'll go from there.
Awesome. Sounds good.
Yeah. So I am originally from Ohio. I went to John Carroll University. It's in East Cleveland, Ohio, Jesuit University. I got a bachelor's degree in sociology. And I was in ROTC. So I did the Reserve Officer Training Corps, and I graduated back in 2009. And then I went straight into the Army then. So I went in as an infantry officer. I went through Army Ranger School. I was a platoon leader, did that for about 3 years. And then I switched my branch over to the Signal Corps. So Signal Corps is essentially like a IT manager, automations, communications, all that type of stuff. So I did that for a couple of years. And then I decided to get out, did my time, and then I joined the Army Reserves for a year. So I switched my branch again, and I became a psychological operations officer. So that was a pretty unique thing, just with all the stuff that's going on right now in the world, and knowing like, psychology of people and like the things that's going on. It was a pretty unique experience. So I did that. And then at that time I got out of the Army, and I didn't have a job. I was in transition. If you ever know anyone in the military, usually like transitioning out is one of the hardest things for someone in the military to do. I ended up starting a drone business. So back in 2016, I was one of the first people to get my FAA Part 107 commercial license. So if you bought a drone and you flew it for commercial purposes, you had to, go to either study, go to an airport and take a test. And I passed that. So during that time, I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do and whatnot. And I did a lot of aerial videography for luxury real estate and, houses like that. I went to real estate offices and did that, but it never really took off. So at that time, this is when I first got into crypto. I heard about crypto. My cousin told me about XRP. So that's the first time I ever heard of it in 2016. He's like, yeah, I got XRP. He's like, you got to download this app called Binance. And this is before Binance.us or whatever. So I downloaded Binance, no clue what I was doing. Like, I think I bought some XRP, some IOTA or something like that. And then like, I didn't know what I was doing. So, and then all of a sudden for that year, 2017 came around, my drone business didn't take off. My buddy told me about Amazon. So I ended up, working for Amazon for the last 3.5 years. I was a on-road area manager. I basically worked at a delivery station. So the last place your package goes before it goes to the customer, I did like the night shift. I managed all like the associates out on the floor. And then I switched over to like being an on-road area manager. So I managed all the on-road operations because at the time Amazon was growing so much. They were looking to hire military veterans and all these new things that was happening so fast paced. It was insane. But during those last 3.5 years, I got a bunch of stock. So the stock that vested, instead of, saving it and whatever, put it in my 401k or cashing out and doing whatever, I cashed out and I put it straight into cryptocurrency during the bear market.
Very nice. Very nice.
It's the financial decision of my whole life. So let's see, 2019 and 2020, I went pretty heavy. I bought Cardano between 7 cents and 18 cents. Tons of it. Just leave it at that. And then I was buying Bitcoin. So I had I had some Bitcoin, but mostly Cardano and like some altcoins. So then let's see, 2020 comes around. Like actually the end of, when the bull market started to hit was like September, October timeframe when things started to come off of 2020. And I started looking at my portfolio and I was like, oh my gosh, like I might not have to like work again. So then like, I kept working at Amazon. And then at the time I was living in Florida and we had a kid, or we had my son, a kid. But then we were living in Florida. My in-laws live in New Jersey. So it's like, let's just move back to family, whatever at the time. Yeah. So moved back here in New Jersey where I'm at now. And then the market started to take off. And then about April 30th, I was just like, man, I'm making enough interest on Voyager where it's like insane. Like I'm making more than a month's salary as an on-road area manager, to the point where it's like, I'm looking at my portfolio. It's fluctuating as much as a month's salary in like minutes. Dang. Like insane. So yeah, so I, quit my day job and crypto retired as of April 30th and just kind of was in, watching the market. And then we had that big dip in the summer. I was freaking out. I was like, oh man. But then I reaccumulated my whole portfolio, sold some Bitcoin, bought a bunch of alts, CKB, StormX, sold a little bit of Cardano. And the market's taking back off now, started my YouTube channel, and it's taken off. And here I am today. So
that's fantastic. I mean, congratulations for a couple of good decisions along the way. Also, Thank you so much for your service. Really appreciate you and everything you've done with that. I don't know if you know, but my husband's actually retired Army. He also went through Ranger training, so he told me to say hi to you.
Awesome, cool. When did he go through?
He went through in '91.
Okay.
In Fort Benning, and he told me to tell you that apparently it was more difficult back then. I have no idea, but
yeah, it's funny you say that. My uncle went through Ranger School back around that time. I think I don't know exactly, but it was like the early '90s. But they had a whole separate, like a jungle, phase, because there's 3 phases, but there's a jungle phase, and they got rid of that. I don't know, but
he was saying that there was like a marsh phase, a mountain phase, and a desert phase, and one of them they got rid of. I don't remember which one.
Yeah, that was the hardest school. That was the most intense. Like I've learned so much about myself. Probably like it made me be the person I am today as like a leader and whatnot and managing people. But yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, yeah. So I think one thing that you mentioned was starting with XRP is kind of an auspicious start, as folks know. But
yeah,
it sounds like you moved on to better coins from there.
Yeah, I don't know. I've re-diversified and I just felt like that I'd rather like 20, 30, 40, 50x my portfolio than hold on to the Bitcoin I have and maybe 2x, 3x, 4x. It's just weird throughout the last 4 or 5 years I've been, studying crypto, and especially this last year and a half, how I've just been, now that I have all this free time to do research and stuff, just how I've repositioned my portfolio and stuff. I don't know if you've done the same.
Yeah, so many opportunities. Well, let me share kind of my entry into crypto and my path through things. So the first time I got involved in crypto, was even aware of it, was back in the early 2000s, before we had blockchain, before Satoshi, before Bitcoin. And folks were busy looking at cryptographic algorithms and how you could use cryptographic algorithms to essentially create anonymous digital cash. And one of the services at the time was called eCash. But the big challenge with it was that it required an intermediary as sort of a clearinghouse. So there was no notion of trustless. So it wasn't really cash that was, we know today with something like Bitcoin. And there were all sorts of problems. Like at the time, the idea was, you'd kind of download your cash onto a smart card or something else. And then if you lost that smart card, well, you've lost your cash. It's just like cash. And so the whole notion of a ledger was really something that was innovative when it came out. The other challenge they had was just around like, well, how secure is this thing? What if it gets hacked and then like all the money just gets leaked away? And one of the ways that Bitcoin really solves for this is by having the blockchain get more secure with every block that's minted. So you kind of have to continue to apply this massive amount of computer power to even get close to doing a double spend or creating a 51% attack. So just the whole setup was really neat. And I was going through some of the work that I did many years ago, and it's just how naive everyone was about what would happen, and how amazing it is that we are where we are today. And I kind of kept my eye on it, right? This is back in 2000, so in about 2012, yeah.
I don't think I've know anyone that has even talked about like blockchain and crypto that early on. Like I've heard people like, on some of the live streams, maybe like 2011, 2010, they heard about it, but 2000, that's crazy.
And there was no blockchain, right? So there was really no crypto as we come to know it. It was just all academic studies and test pilots and people doing little things. But yeah, in 2012 was when I first got 2012 or 2013 first got introduced to Bitcoin. And unfortunately, I didn't go big back then. I even have an old Mt. Gox account that's sitting around somewhere, but it just seems so sketchy.
Yeah.
And I couldn't bring myself to buy anything, thankfully, given what happened with Mt. Gox. But unfortunately, that also kind of scared me off of the market for a while, because I'm like, well, okay, this is sketchy, and I have proof that it's sketchy because they, basically ran away with the money. And here, 4 or 5 years later, I was still a little bit wary of it. But the one thing that really changed my mind was when I saw DeFi, and I saw what Compound and a few other folks were doing, and something shifted in me. I'm like, okay, this makes sense. It's not just something that you accumulate and hope goes up in value. It actually has real utility as a sort of financial system for the world. And yeah, it's rudimentary and it's just getting started. So I'd say my true sort of crypto journey, as we all think about crypto and blockchain, was really roughly around 2019. And started kind of dipping my toe into the water. And I got lucky with a few and got unlucky with a few others. But, generally back then you would get more lucky than not with things. But what really fascinated me was there's so many projects and so much to learn. And so for the last 2 years, that's really been like a lot of my focus is just crypto, learning about projects, learning about, how to earn yield on your crypto and learning more about DeFi and yield farming. And it's such an amazing space and it's transformative.
Yeah. What platform were you using back in 2019? Coinbase?
2019. So I think I bought my first coins on Coinbase, but very quickly I shifted to Binance. I forget when they came out with the US version. It was somewhere around the time where they were switching over, but Binance just had all these great like different options for coins. So of course I'm like, okay, I don't know what this is. And one way to learn is I just buy some and then I'd start learning about it. So I had, a little bit of Doge from back in the day. Wish I bought more Doge, but it is what it is.
Robinhood, I had Robinhood, like I had Binance, and then I had Robinhood, and then Coinbase came out, or I think it's been out, but then I heard about it. But oh man, Robinhood, I had 300,000 Dogecoin at one point. And at the peak, I think earlier this year, it would have been worth like 300K or something like that. But I was buying it when it was like 0.0024 to 0.00 like 8-9, and I thought that was a lot at the time.
Yeah, and there was no expectation it would go anywhere. I mean, It didn't do anything. The development has stopped essentially, and then Elon comes along. Thank you.
Yeah. Oh gosh. But yeah. So back in 2019, when you said you started to get into it, you said you worked for Microsoft and Google, right?
Yeah, so at the time I was working at Google, before then I'd worked at Microsoft, kind of always in tech, more the traditional, big tech path, straight out of college into Microsoft. Did my 9 years at Microsoft, went to Google, did 11 years at Google, switched back very briefly to Microsoft, and then I'm like, no, got to do crypto. So that's how I landed up at Permission.
I'm curious because I know there's isn't there a movie about the Google interview process? Was it like that? I just want to hear that. Like, I don't want to get off topic, but I just want to hear it like straight from someone who's done it. Is it like that? Like,
so I think the movie you're referring to is The Internship, with Owen. What's his last name? Owen Wilson? No, I forget. Anyway, and yeah, the campus is very much like what they're portraying. I mean, they filmed it on campus, and we've got a huge big dinosaur with flamingos in it. There's bowling alleys in some of the buildings. It's just this crazy experience. But the interview process is nothing like the movie. It was a lot of like, because I'm in product management, a lot of questions around product and building product and, more technical type questions. I actually, so when you're a product manager at Google, they have you go through not just interviews with product managers, but at the time, interviews with engineers as well, because they wanted you to be a little bit technical. So I was, all studying back my, all computer science stuff that I was learning. And I think I actually failed my first engineering interview because the engineer asked me, a bunch of questions. And then I'm like, oh, do you want me to tell you how the internet works? Me thinking I know how the internet works. And so we get into this whole big discussion about routing packets and all these other things in DNS. And clearly I was completely wrong because I could tell by her face that I'm like, yeah, I'm way off. So thankfully I got a second chance at that interview and they asked me something that I could actually answer.
Nice. That's crazy. Yeah, it probably depends on like what you're actually interviewing for, depending on what type of interview it is. Because when I interviewed for Amazon, I didn't know what I wanted to do. I didn't know what I would be best at. They were just looking for leaders and leadership. So a lot of the basic leadership skills was like a warehouse manager, an area manager would be like the go-to. And it wasn't that bad of an interview. I mean, there was like the phone screen, a virtual interview, and then they flew me out to Chicago and it was like 3 45-minute long interviews with like a senior manager, like HR and someone else. And they would just ask you like behavior type questions, like what would you do in this scenario type of thing. And it was interesting because then like as I grew with Amazon, then I became an interviewer. So I was interviewing people like managers and stuff. Just the process is kind of cool.
Yeah, no, it's great. And, Amazon's really good, especially with, veterans. I tried to convince my husband to join Amazon, but he wasn't interested in that.
My old manager was a retired Air Force colonel, 28 years. He came in the same level as me. I'll never forget this. Max Massey is his name. He said, yeah, this is just my play money job. Because like he was making a pretty decent salary with his retirement. And I'm sure he had disability and whatnot, but he was just an area manager. And I think he's still there today. He's like, yeah, I'm waiting for my stock to vest. He's like, I want to buy a boat. He's down in Tampa. So.
Yeah, soon he can buy a plane if Amazon keeps going up.
I know. It's crazy. Cool. So let's see. So what this is a big question. So what kind of like made you leave big tech to come to like the crypto space, even though like you kind of had that background and whatnot, but before Permission, were you at Google or were you at Microsoft?
I just switched to Microsoft, back to Microsoft. I'd heard so many good things about Satya and kind of the new era at Microsoft. But most of my career, I'd done sort of small startup-y type products within a large company. And so I'd always wanted to do a true startup and, never really had the opportunity or perhaps the courage more than anything else to do that. But, as you've been in crypto for a while, like it helps to have a little cushion to be able to make some risky decisions like that. Yeah. And crypto's kind of helped with that. But I think one of the things that really got me interested was I'd been speaking with Charlie, who's our CEO, on and off for a couple of years, and was really excited about the mission of Permission, which is, giving people back ownership of their data and allowing folks to earn off their data. Being at Google, you see all the ways that data is truly valuable. And all the value is going to Google, and it's not going to the people whose actually data it is. So that seemed like an honorable mission for a company and something that I could be part of. But then just as I spoke with them, and the idea wasn't just, hey, we're building another crypto coin and we're going to try to get it to pump and do a thing. It was very much thoughtful around the utility and building a multi-sided market and how to provide value not just for users but for advertisers as well. And so that's something that drew me in was, hey, creating a multi-sided market that's sustainable and durable is a real challenging problem. And so that's, kind of where we are now is, in the thick of building out all the use cases and scenarios for both sides of the market. Yeah.
So being a chief product officer, can you just tell me what exactly that means for like the simple people out there? Military, we always say KISS, keep it stupid simple. So like thinking of Google, Microsoft, and like where you're at today, like when you're assigned as a chief product officer for Google or Amazon, or whoever, I'm sure there's lots of them, but like, are you kind of like a project manager? You get assigned like, hey, if you work for Amazon, that you're a part of the Amazon Alexa product management rollout or something like that. Like, did you kind of explain that? I'm just curious.
Yeah, so typically I'll start with how it works typically in big tech is you have product managers for a given product, and product managers are responsible for what you're doing, why you're doing it, kind of the vision and the specifics of what you're doing. And then if you imagine engineering and design, talk about how it looks and how it's built, And so there's multiple roles that come together to produce the final product. And product management tends to be a lot more on vision and strategy, whereas engineering is a lot more on kind of the implementation and the execution, for example. And so as in my role as chief product officer at Permission, the idea is to kind of do that, but for the entire team. So I've got a team of folks who are working on different aspects of the project, and to look at not just certain parts of the offering for Permission, but to really own the entire utility of the ASK coin that we have, of all the scenarios that we have, and then help support folks on my team who are coming up with a strategy for their area and kind of owning their area as well.
Interesting. Yeah,
I'm seeing a couple of comments here. Magnus, I want to say thank you. That's awesome. Tyler, I saw you up there. It's scrolling by a little too fast. And Marcus,
Floki,
I see you as well. Awesome.
What's up, Floki? Mike Lind, God bless your husband for serving Vanessa. You both are great Americans.
Oh, thank you.
Who else do we got? We got Arcos. Oh, it's my moderator. He's a good dude. Oh, Michael. Poor Max getting doxed hard. My bad. He doesn't watch this anyway. Whatever. Magnus Red says Vanessa is my favorite follow on Twitter.
Oh. Well, if you don't follow Crypto Airborne, you should follow him as well.
He just did. Thank you for subscribing. You guys are awesome. Cool. All right. I want to share my screen real quick, kind of like the permission, the coin. I know you can't talk about it and whatnot, but I like one question revolved around that, and I'm going to get to the website real quick.
Yeah, I'll say I can talk about it once, and then the second time will be from jail. So let's not do that.
Okay. So for those of you that don't know, they have the Askcoin is like their, what do you say, utility token or utility coin? Is that what you would call it?
Yeah, utility coin. Yeah.
So one of the biggest questions I know that a lot of people have been asking me is where you can buy it or where you can find it. And right now, I don't know if I'm pretty sure this is true. The BitGlobal and BitTrue are the only two exchanges you can currently just, go on and buy it. Are there any plans that you can share with us of it being put on other exchanges? And I know that's sometimes out of your control, like with CoinBase, there's no control that people have in listing their coin, but is there anything you can share with maybe future exchanges listing?
Yes, I can't share any specifics of exchanges, but definitely making it more available to folks in more places is something that's top of mind for the team. With any crypto, if it doesn't hit some of the large exchanges, it's actually very difficult. And I think you and I have both been in the position of, well, how do we buy this obscure coin that we've heard about and we want to acquire, and it's jumping through a bunch of hoops. So we want to make it easy for folks to acquire the ASK coin and to be able to hodl it. So can't share specifics, but definitely top of mind for the team.
Awesome. So jumping over to the actual website. So I made a video on it. I did pretty in-depth video. I went through their whole white paper, made out a 30-minute video just because I wanted to know what I was talking about before I had you come on. But so you first sign up. If you want to sign up with them, you get KYC'd. It only took about 24 hours. So that was pretty fast. It's pretty easy too. Like you just put your driver's license in, you took a photo of it, and that was pretty much it, some basic information. And then you gain access basically to this web page. What you have is you get your wallet, you have your data. I'm not going to click on that. And then you can get referrals, and then you have like your basic settings. But down here there's a daily earn, which I thought was pretty cool. So they have videos up here that you can essentially watch, and I'm sure you can, at some point you can tailor it to like what you actually want to see. But like right now there's just random stuff like a straightening hot comb. My wife might like that, a curling iron or whatever. There's stainless steel watches and just a bunch of random stuff. So I've been doing this for like the last 3 or 4 days. I've got 860 ask. But when you initially sign up, I know there's like videos that you can watch that tells you about the coin and like the, your company and whatnot, which I think is pretty cool and useful. And also there's an Ask store, which I think Marcos had a comment about it, where you can use your Ask coins and you can buy like apparel, posters, electronics, gift cards, stainless steel water bottles and whatnot. So I thought that's pretty cool.
Yes, there's definitely kind of two sides we're looking at, is to offer as many ways for folks to earn ASK, the Ask coin, as well as to be able to use it like in the store there. Definitely one thing that as we started, we're still a fairly new company, but the initial question was, is anyone willing to even watch a video or, share some of their data to earn some crypto? And I think, over the last few months, we've actually proven like, yes, that's actually the case. And so we know that this is something that holds value. And now we're looking at, well, how can we add more value and perhaps, flesh out what it means to own your data, not just share and earn, but, is there an ownership component to it as well? So, the team's hard at work. We've, got some plans that are still, very early stages in development, but, hoping that over the coming months and coming quarters that we'll have a little more that we can share.
Yeah, that's awesome that you mentioned that, because I was reading like your future rollout, like what you're going to be doing in the future. And there's talks of staking I saw, which is pretty cool. And there's like an iOS app and an Android app that you guys want to roll out too.
Yeah, and I think, as you look at the landscape today, desktop is great, and there's lots of people that have desktop, but most of the world has moved to mobile already. I mean, even as we talk about, Voyager, I think they just have a mobile app right now, and they're doing very well with that. And so that's definitely an area that we know we need to, develop a mobile app to bring to the rest of the world that's not on the desktop.
Yeah, I know, and that's when everyone at Voyager's like, when's the desktop coming out? When's the, I'm curious. I think that's something with like their Market Rebellion they're partnering with to like roll out like a whole cool desktop version. But
I mean, really, what I'd rather they did was give me staking on all my coins, because
yeah,
I know there's some, like I have Elrond there, and I've got some Solana, and it's just kind of sitting there, and I can't withdraw it, and I don't want to sell it.
yeah. Steve always brings that up about, I guess there's like a whole like process in the back end that they have to go through for security purposes. They got to find like a good custodian to just hold that and whatnot, because everyone's always asking about CKB. When's CKB staking, or like Elrond? Is there Elrond staking or no? Or rewards?
There is, yeah, but not on Voyager at the moment.
Gotcha. That's one coin I don't know anything about, is Elrond.
Oh, we can maybe talk about that later as we get to,
Yeah.
my favorite cryptos.
So going back to this real quick, there was one question, and so you guys have a plugin that I have it installed. So you install the plugin, the permission plugin. Your data has value. Get your cut. So you click on it, how it works. Use the internet as you would normally would. When we find a relevant ad for you, we'll let you know. If you choose to watch an ad, you'll be compensated for it, a new cryptocurrency called Ask. The crypto you earn goes directly into your permission wallet, where you can hold, trade, or spend. So with that being said, I've been like scrolling around the last couple of days. I haven't had anything pop up like what that just said. So I don't know, is it because I'm using the Brave browser and I have the thing blocked, like the pop-up blocker, the Brave shields or whatever up here?
It's possible. We've done a lot more testing on Chrome, and so maybe there's some issue with Brave. But as you browse around, as you search Google and Amazon, if you have something that's relevant, it should pop up and give you an opportunity to watch a video. Oh, there we go. Thanks. Naomi's from our team, and she just popped in and said, "Yep, Brave shields block."
I knew it. I didn't try that yet, but I had that question because I had another tab opened up and Brave wasn't in there, and I had a weird pop-up that said something about Ask, but then I clicked on it and it wouldn't work or whatever. So, and then I don't know. So I guess I just got to turn off the Brave shield and then I'll start getting the pop-ups. But then again, that's another thing. Is that something that you guys are going to look at with different browsers? Because Brave is like, I don't want people tracking all my stuff and data. So if I turn that off and have the Ask permission, plugin on, does that kind of go against like the whole purpose?
Well, there's definitely an ethos question here, and I think Brave and permission are different in slightly nuanced ways. So I love Brave. I've used Brave. They're very much about keeping you private as you browse through the internet. Now, part of that's really good, and keeping your privacy is good, but it also means that you tend to get a less personalized experience. And so that the content you see, the ads you see, is not necessarily going to align kind of directly with what your interests are. So that's one benefit of having, a little bit of this tracking. But the other difference is, permission, we think your data has value, and we want you to be able to get cut of that value. And so when it's completely anonymous, you lose that opportunity. And so it's good that people have the option to be completely anonymous, but I think also it's important to have the option to kind of earn from your data and have that experience. So that's where we're slightly different. I think both are important in the marketplace.
Yeah, for sure. I like it. Now, with all that being said too, is there any competition that you guys see right now out in the space that is doing the same thing that you guys are, that you know of?
Yeah, I mean, there's a number of different places that are doing kind of similar loyalty or trying to target the data ownership, but I don't think any of them are actually in the crypto space. And so I think that's one thing that's unique, is we're offering crypto. It's completely fungible and transferable, and it can be converted to real value. I mean, I don't know if you're like me. I've got points from some credit card somewhere that I can never use because I don't have enough to get the vacation or whatever I could redeem it for.
Yeah,
And so just having that crypto and being able to transfer it and use it is something that's really important.
for sure. Naomi said, basically Brave is designed to block all ads but their own. So it is not supported browser for our extension. You could put shields down, but it is best to use a different browser. Gotcha.
And I got to say, I'm loving the team support here. Thanks, Naomi. And also to Mike's question of, how many employees do we have? So we've got, just under 30 at the moment. And, folks in engineering and in product, we're currently in the process of hiring a VP of design and research onto our team, and definitely fantastic folks in the marketing and PR side as well. So we've got a, fairly large team. Our founder, Charlie Silver, actually has founded startups before and sold them. He was the CEO at RealAge, which is a sort of data startup. And yeah, so a lot of depth of experience on the team.
Awesome. You said how many employees? You said 30, right?
Yeah, just under 30.
I don't want to keep talking about permission. I mean, I do, but there's a lot of other questions
I wouldn't mind.
I want to get
That's
to.
kind of my gig, right?
But before we just jump into some kind of random spitfire questions, I got about, I don't know, I didn't want to go more than an hour, 20 minutes or so left. What is one of the game-changing things about permission that you think is coming up that is going to put them out there type of thing? What is going to be oh, PermissionIO, I want it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so I'd say that's not something we're able to share just yet. And that's actually something we're working on refining. But I think you nailed it. There needs to be something that is just so compelling beyond earning a little more crypto, but that actually makes you want to use it. And think your experience with Brave, right? It gives you value of being anonymous on the internet.
Yeah.
One could think that maybe if there was some value in you being able to customize your experience through the internet and to earn as you customize that, that could be something that might be valuable.
Now, could you integrate the Ask plugin with Brave browser? That would be awesome because, with the Brave browser, I get my basic attention token automatically added to my Uphold account every single month. So if I have to turn my Brave shields off just to get the Ask permission coins, it's kind of like defeating the purpose type of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, for sure. And I think as we look at, where to focus our time, definitely the mobile app is the first one. But then as we come back to desktop, it's well, which browsers are most important to target? I don't know offhand the market share of Brave. I know it's, really important in the market, but definitely, things like Chrome or Firefox and even desktop Safari, I think, have a fairly large market share in comparison. So that's one of the ways, as a product owner, we try and prioritize reaching the most number of people and having the most impact with features that we build. And sometimes it takes longer to, release everything. Kind of like Voyager, they released the Shiba Inu token and went crazy. And I'm like, when's staking on my Solana? Come on.
I know. I think they're just trying to get the volume in the community to the platform.
Yeah.
Is basically what they're doing. But I was all upset. I was like, oh, why are they bringing Shiba on here? But whatever. I bought some a little bit. I'm still holding it.
That's why they brought it there, right?
Yeah. There anything else about permission you want to talk about before we move on?
I mean, I think you covered a lot of the points. I think just something to stress as well is, we do realize that for crypto investors, it's a little difficult to find the ASK coin at the moment. So that is something that we're looking at and kind of growing the possibilities there. And it's very early days. So as we get further on and as we launch some things, we'd love to hear from everyone in the community. We've got a pretty large community now. I think a few thousand people on Discord, and I think Telegram has a few thousand more folks. So we're growing.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to it. Cool. All right, so let's get into some fun questions now that we got that aside. So behind me over here, it's weird doing it in the camera, I have my crypto miners. So I have 5 CK boxes and I'm mining the CKB Nervos network coin. Are you into mining? Have you any experience about cryptocurrency mining or anything? I'm curious.
So I've tried to get into mining kind of multiple times, and every time I've approached it, it's been something like, okay, the power is going to be fairly high usage, but maybe we can somehow work that and do off peak or make that work. But then most of these mining machines are just so noisy. I've looked at some of the ant miners and some of the stuff to mine Bitcoin. It's just crazy.
Yeah, these ones luckily are pretty quiet. I think they're 35 to 40 decibels. I have 5 of them running. I can barely hear it right now, even with the power supplies. Whereas the stronger ones, there's the CK5 box, the KD5 box. and they use like 2,200 watts of electricity, but they run like 80 decibels. There's no way I could run like one or two of those down here. Plus, you have to get like a 220 volt outlet, and it would just be, my whole basement would be like a windmill basically. But
no, is it profitable? Because whenever I've done the calculations, at least for Bitcoin and Ethereum, it's been very like break even, and if the coin goes up, then you do well.
Yeah, it all depends on the day. It always fluctuates. So like with my CKB or CK boxes that I'm doing right now, I'm making like 350, 400 bucks a month at the current price.
That's decent.
But if CKB goes up to 20 cents, 25 cents, $1, I'll be making $600, $700, $800 a day potentially just on these boxes. So it's just another hobby that I've gotten into with like in the last month, just to stay busy on top of YouTube. I've been doing this, but I eventually want to like
CKB is kind of a coin to mine.
Yeah. But then the thing is acquiring these CK boxes. So I use goldshell.com, and you pay with crypto, and it comes from China. So the thing with that is whenever they make an announcement, everyone goes to the site, it crashes, which is, it's the biggest feedback that everyone's been giving them, but it's insane. So luckily I got these, and they're not really hard. Oh, now that I don't know, it's a lot of people are talking about the mining CK boxes and whatnot. But you can find them, but usually they'll sell out within 12 to 24 hours once they announce it.
I mean, I guess people are making, good money on it, so it makes sense.
Yeah, there's actually there's a website that I really like called let me see here. Real-time mining profitability. It's called asicminervalue.com. And it's pretty accurate, I'll say. You can see right here. So right now, the Gold Shell KD5 box is making $318 a day at the current price of Cadena, which is insane. But if you click on this, it kind of breaks everything down to like electricity per day. It costs $6, but your income is $322. So profit, you're making $315 a day, $9,400 a month, or $113,000 a year just on this. So why would you want to work unless you really have a passion to do something when you could, maybe get lucky early on and buy one of these and make $113,000 a year?
I'm scrolling down now, and $70,000 for one of these guys. Oh,
yep.
There's a couple cheaper ones.
Yeah, but still, they're always going to be sold out. Like these are the hot things. These say it's in stock. I don't know if they're in stock, but this kind of tells you like where you can get them. But it's pretty interesting how much power. Uses 2,250 watts. So I would have to get like a massive power supply and whatnot. But yeah, I just wanted to get into this real quick. But this website's really cool to look at, and I've found it pretty accurate. So if I go down here to like the CK boxes, like when I'm mining right now, let me see. And it doesn't seem like much, which it isn't really. Like I'm not gonna, unless the coin goes up in price, I'm only making like $20 a day, I'd say. I can't even find it. Let's see. The ST
yeah, but it's $20 for not doing anything.
Yeah. So I have 5 of them running right now. So I'm making $3.22 a day, 62 cents in electricity at 0.12 kilowatts. So you can adjust it down here based off where you live and how much electricity, and then it'll change the estimation. But yeah, I'm making about $77 per month at the current price per box. So times that by 5, that's what I'm making. But like I said, if the price goes up to 25 cents, 30 cents, that's a pretty good chunk of passive income I'm making. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, for sure. I feel like it's important at this point to shout out for projects like Monero, which are actually actively trying to be ASIC resistant to help decentralize the mining so that anyone with a CPU and a computer can do it. Because it's kind of interesting. You see what happens with Bitcoin is you now got these huge miners that spend hundreds of millions of dollars to get set up. And I think some of the ethos of like decentralization is, at least, I don't want to say being lost, but compromised in small ways.
Yeah. And then you start getting into we got Michael Corleone in here. He's a genius, BGX hero. He's into Bitcoin mining and everything. But he said, you need cheap power cost. If your power is expensive, hosted rack space can often be cheaper than hosting the rig in your own house. And you don't have to contend with the noise or heat. So what he's talking about, I'm sure you've heard of, is compass mining. You ever heard of compass mining?
I've heard of them. I haven't actually looked into them, so I don't know a whole lot about them.
And he's getting me into this. And as a disclaimer, I know his wife just recently got a job, and I don't want to talk too much about that. But Essentially what it is you'll buy these new ant miners that they have. I believe, I don't want to say the wrong one, but it's these ones that are coming out soon at the very top. So I want to say it's the Bitman ant miner E9, which is coming soon, making $194 a day. So they have some package on compassmining.com where you can buy 4 or 5 of them. You do a 1-year contract. Essentially, you buy it from them. They host it at their warehouses. They set everything up. You pay a monthly fee, and then you get the profit from it. And then after a year, you have the opportunity to either, continue the contract and hosting it down with them, or you can, have them ship it to your house and you can do it yourself. So that kind of
looks like they're hosted in Texas.
Yep,
nice.
In Texas, where electricity is cheap and all the mining, everyone from China, I guess, moved to Texas and whatnot.
Yeah, when we left California to Texas, our power bill, I think the cost was like 1/3 of what it was in California.
Wow. Okay, so
no, of course we ran our air conditioning the whole time because it's crazy hot here. So it ended up being about the same dollar-wise, but per kilowatt is much cheaper.
Yeah. So he said it's the S19 XP, and they have hosting sites all over the world. Okay. Oops. But yeah, that's just mining. I was curious. I can go and talk about that for a while, but it's just another hobby that I've gotten into. I've been mining for a little over a month and a half now, and I'm doing the CK boxes now, and I got 3 HS boxes. So that's the handshake coin, and there's 2 algorithms that you can mine. It's the Sia coin, SC coin, which is starting to take off now. And then there's handshake, which I don't really know too much about it, but the Sia coin is like a decentralized cloud space coin, which is real interesting. But yeah, that's my crypto mining experience.
That's really awesome. Thank you. I learned a couple things today.
Yeah. All right. What do we got? It's we got 47 minutes and 22 seconds. So maybe about like 10, 12 minutes. I'll try to do some like spitfire questions, maybe, if that's cool.
Yeah, whatever works.
So top cryptos that you're in right now, maybe like top 3 that I'm going to guess Algorand and Cardano.
Not so much Algorand, Elrond.
Elrond.
But if you look at my profile on Twitter, there's 5 that I've got. Bitcoin, of course, you need the OG. Cardano, and I can go into all the reasons why I love Cardano, even though it's had a little rough ride of late.
Yeah.
Then
that was my baby. I sold off a decent amount, and I sold a good bag at like $1.95. So I made profit or whatnot, but I wish I would have sold when it was, what was it? It hit like $3, I think.
Yeah, and it's hard because when it goes up so much like that, you think, okay, well, maybe it'll go to $4. You get caught up in the momentum of the moment.
Agreed.
But yeah, Cardano, and then Elrond's another one, another smart contract platform that I've been, I don't want to say dabbling. I've jumped in with both feet into the pool, and it's been pretty awesome so far. And then Voyager and Celsius, so the other 2 that I have. Celsius has not been done good. In fact, I think it's my worst performing coin in the last year. And so, I'm hoping that eventually the promise of their service will translate into sell token price increase.
Nice. So Elrond, VGX, and Celsius, Cardano.
Yeah, and Bitcoin.
And Bitcoin. Yeah, that's crazy that I was like Bitcoin. No, I don't know what I had more of. I was Cardano, I would say Bitcoin, and then that was pretty much it. Like just a bunch of random. I had like Matic, Polygon, or Polkadot, and a bunch of other things. But now
I have about 50 different coins, so I just collect them, and I'm like, okay, well that's there. I'm just gonna leave that there, and you come back a little while later, and it's grown, and that's nice.
And it's kind of cool because it's like I like to diversify. At least I have 5 or 6 that I'm pretty heavily invested. Whereas like one day they'll shoot up when everything else is down. Like Voyager token was up the other day, and then CKB was up. Everything else was down. Like I just with everything going so crazy, it's like I'd like to have those certain coins just take off. But eventually, hopefully, they all take off here soon.
Yeah, I think the thing that I'm just kind of watching is as the cycle eventually comes to the end, at some point it'll end. What happens to all the alts and all the smart contract platforms that didn't get as much traction, say as an Ethereum or something else? And I don't know. In 2017, if you looked at the top 20 list, most of those are kind of gone.
Yep. I think I remember someone saying that they pulled up the list of the bull market in the 2017 when it peaked out, like the top 10, and like maybe 3 or 4 of them are still, or maybe 4 of them are still here today. But yeah, so next question leading what we're just talking about, when do you think we're going to peak out and then go into a bear market? Or do you think there's lots of adoption that's going on nowadays that we'll peak out a little bit, but then we're not going to go into such a bad bear market like we did from 2017 to 2020?
Yeah, I got to say I'm not the best at price prediction. Everyone I watch says, lengthening cycles and we can expect some of that. At the same time, I heard November was supposed to be 98,000 for Bitcoin, which clearly we're not at. I mean, we've got a day, so maybe, but probably not.
Yeah.
I do think what's likely to happen is, as we go into next year, we'll probably see the market continue to grow stronger unless something crazy happens in the world. But then, what happens if another country decides to jump into Bitcoin? It could very quickly become this snowball of just everyone FOMOing in, like countries FOMOing in. And then what happens? And I think that could bring the whole market just skyrocket. So I think that's the blessing of crypto, right? Is you just never know when something like that could happen, and the returns could be insane.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I think my thoughts have changed. Like I thought it was going to be December, but now that I don't know, I'm doing more research, and we got the gaming and the metaverse is kind of blowing up right now. And what are people going to look to invest into during that bear market? What's going to hold their values? NFTs? Is gaming tokens?
Yeah, who knows? And, I think it's prudent to say not financial advice for any of this.
NFA guys.
Do your own research.
Yep.
I'm wondering if someone's actually got into trouble for not saying that, because everyone says it all the time.
I know. That's funny. So yeah, talking about the gaming and the metaverse real quick, what are your thoughts on the metaverse? Do you have any experience with the Oculus 2 from Facebook, the Meta headset? I've got one. It's pretty crazy. As much as we hate big tech and the data and whatnot, it is truly an insane experience if you've never tried that before.
I haven't tried the Oculus. I tried another one, which was pretty good. My experience was feeling sick afterwards. It's like my body didn't really resonate that it was in 3D space, but none of the other signals of your body, your balance and stuff weren't changing. So it was just a very disconcerting experience for me. And I think they've done some research that it depends on, the person can have different reactions to it.
Yeah, that's one of the things. If you have the motion sickness, and how are they going to combat that in the future? What are they going to do? Make it super realistic to the point where you think you're in real life type of thing?
Yeah, put you in a little pod and roll you around as you move.
Yeah, well, I heard there's so obviously I have it over there. It's this big goggle thing you put on. They're going to make them smaller to where when I was into drones, I haven't really flown a drone recently, but they have racing drones with these FPV first person view goggles that are really small. That's probably going to be the next thing. And then even taking it one step further, from what I hear, I don't know, Zuck wants to do, or rumors, is a contact lens, which essentially blends, augmented reality with real life type of thing. So you just put a contact lens in, you go down the street, you go to a restaurant, or you're just walking down the street, let's say, and then there's so-and-so restaurant, a little thing will pop out saying the reviews and what rating that restaurant is. It'll just know your preferences. Or you'll go into that restaurant, you'll sit down, there's no menu. It'll know based off where you're at, your location, you'll have a menu pop up in front of you, a digital menu that you'll just, move with your hand in front of your face type of thing. So
I think technology is definitely going to make that possible. What I wonder though is, does the human spirit crave for some connection that it doesn't get through these technologies? I think even just the last couple of years, we've all been a little bit separated. I'm feeling the longing in myself for a lot more of that connection. And I wonder if there'll be a swinging of the pendulum back, where people will spend more time, as humans in the real metaverse, the universe, right?
Yeah, that's a whole debatable thing too. It's you have the older folks, the boomers. I don't want to say boomers or whatever, but who aren't used to the technology. But then you have the younger generation, the kids growing up now, they're exposed to cell phones. They're used to it. So this is all becoming normal for them. So where do you draw the line to where you do real life in the metaverse? Some people are saying that by 2050, 50 to 60, 70% of our time is going to be in the metaverse.
Yeah, today it almost is, right? How much do you use Twitter? I use it way more than I should. And it's, a very rudimentary metaverse. I have met very few of the folks in person, actually. Yeah.
So yeah, the metaverse and the gaming stuff, I just think it's going to grow huge here in the near future.
Yeah, the thing about gaming that I'm really excited about is the opportunity for players to have equal share of the benefit of a game. Kind of like as we've been talking about with permission, like your data has value, share in that value. Like for games as well, previously it was just the publisher would get all the revenue, but the players who make the multiplayer game a destination, who organize the raids or whatever they're doing in the game, being able to benefit from that, not just emotionally, but financially as well, I think is going to be huge.
That's game changing. Yeah, that you bring that up. I talked about this on one of my live streams a couple weeks ago. Say like the new Grand Theft Auto game comes out, there's Grand Theft Auto 6 that comes out. They're going to incorporate NFTs depending on whatever gaming token or coin, or if they come up with their own Rockstar Games come up with their own game, they'll come out with a limited number of like skins or whatever within the game that you can buy or essentially own. And then when you get sick of the game, or you don't want to play it anymore, you can put those up on the NFT marketplace for that game or whatever they're connected to. So
yeah,
now
I
you're
mean,
going
what
to
if
have a
that
whole
skin
generation
has
of kids.
value?
Yeah.
In the next game, right? And so you have that skin or that NFT, and suddenly you get a power up or something. Then it continues the desire for them.
So, man, I wish I could fast forward like 5 years from now just to see where we're gonna be, because it's gonna get mind blowing. And I think we're still early. Like I talked to a lot of people about this, like in real life where I'm at. Nobody's even in crypto. I just connect with everyone here on the internet. It's like I'll go to like friends' parents' house or wherever. I'll talk to people and, oh, what do you do? And that's a great conversation, knowing my whole backstory. And like, I'm a YouTuber now. I used to do this, and I'm into crypto, and they're just don't have any exposure. So that's another thing. We're still so early to the game.
Yeah, and I think as we think about people who are kind of in the real world, not really engaged in crypto, it's sometimes tough for us who've been in crypto for so long to have that perspective. I was chatting with a few friends the other day who aren't into crypto at all. Very smart folks, into investing, into stocks and bonds and the whole thing. And there was a chasm, and they couldn't bring themselves to invest. It just, I think maybe like where I was in 2013, it was just too sketchy. It's a Ponzi scheme. What's going on here?
That's funny you say that, because my father-in-law, he does not want to like listen to me talk about crypto. Whenever I start talking about it, he'll just change the topic and whatnot. I don't know. And then there's my mother-in-law. She's more to like listen to me, and I think I'm going to try to get her to download the Voyager app here soon. I wish, they got they have the Cyber Monday referral bonus thing going on. Maybe I'll try to get her to sign up. I think we have till the end of tomorrow or something. But
what I think the magic's going to be is when they release that debit card, they have a checking account backing it. If people can just deposit their paycheck there and start earning 9% interest,
game changer.
Just done. That's game changing. You don't have to change anything. Just get your HR department to put it over there instead of to your bank.
And if you're in the VLP program, and depending on what your tier, navigator level like myself, 10.5% rewards, they call it now, not interest. But that's game changing. I can't wait for that debit card to come out.
Yeah. Did you want to bounce to a couple questions from the chat before we?
Yeah, let's see what we got. Let's see. I gotta scroll up. I didn't even look. Bitcoin mining. Airborne. Are you running your miners as a business? Are you capitalizing on the depreciation and amortization of the equipment? No, but probably here soon with my crypto Airborne brand and whatnot. I just bought my domain, and I don't know where this is going, but yeah, probably eventually, yeah, I will do that. Let's see. Marcos is running 3 small boxes. Veronica says everything is better in Texas. Marcos asks, what did Vanessa tell us about Askcoin? I thought we already kind of maybe covered that. What do you mean, Marcos, by that? What can tell us about the Ask?
I mean, I can share maybe a few things. So at the moment, the Askcoin is built on a fork of Ethereum. The reason we did that initially a couple of years back was because of gas fees. Even back then, they were crazy high. So it's not exactly an ERC20 token, but it's of the same spirit as that. But I think there was another question of can you mine Askcoin? Currently not. It's built on top of an Ethereum fork, so it's not really something that you can mine. It's not its own blockchain, as it were.
And then Veronica says, well, going back to what we were just talking about, this is a great subject. How do we get traditional people involved? What could Voyager do to make it easier and more attractive to traditional investors? That's a great question. The thing that I always personally do when I start talking about crypto or just getting people into the crypto space is download the Voyager app, check out my YouTube channel. I got a playlist of intro to crypto. If you're scared to, invest in a cryptocurrency, there's something called USDC coin. It's a stable coin, doesn't go up or down. Putting it on the platform and letting it sit, you earn 9% interest / rewards. That's kind of what I would do.
Yeah, kind of mapping it to their traditional way of thinking of that. There's a checking account, there's a debit card, you're earning 9% interest. And at some point, hopefully there'll be a credit card as well. And to just say, hey, shift your banking over. Here's all the benefits you get. And then as part of being on Voyager, they'll see all these other opportunities as well. And maybe ask, what's this Bitcoin thing? What's this VGX thing?
Yeah, for sure. Let's see, we got an hour. I want to ask one more question. This will be our fun question. And you were on my Twitter commenting, and it actually got a lot of traction. So what you like to do for fun outside of crypto? Me, I'm into sports cars. Like I have my whole nother channel where I just do a bunch of do-it-yourselfs. I go to a lot of sports car shows, and I've just been doing that my whole life. But one of the tweets I posted the other day is this bad boy. It's called the Rezvani Tank. So it's basically like I think it's built on like a Jeep chassis, but this is the military grade version. And I just was messing around like building it and whatnot. But
Tank edition.
Yeah. $259,000. So this is what you get. You get bulletproof glass, body armor, underside explosive protection, EMP protection, smoke screen, run flat tires, thermal night vision, radiator protection, whole bunch of stuff. Electrified door handles. I watched a video on it. That was insane. Siren, strobe lights.
Wait, Crypto Airborne, who are you going to war with?
I don't know, but the way this world's going, maybe I'm just a little too crazy.
Well, it kind of reminds me, I grew up in South Africa, and there was a lot of, carjacking issues there. And at one point, someone came up with a car that had flamethrowers coming out the side. So if someone came to carjack you, you press a button and the flamethrower. I don't know if it actually got put on the street, or, definitely not street legal, but,
That's what I was going to say. You have an accent. I was wondering if you were like from England or South Africa. Is that where you were born?
Yeah, I grew up in South Africa.
Nice. But yeah, so sports cars is my big thing. And I wanted to buy a Lamborghini, but I think driving around in this thing would be pretty badass. I mean, we peek out in crypto. Yeah, I could definitely get this. But and then I added a Hellcat engine into it. So I'll have like 800 horsepower. Imagine driving this bad boy down the road.
You need a whole gas station following you. Just
I don't know the fuel. Oh, man, it probably eats gas. But yeah, what are you into?
Yeah, so I'm definitely on the opposite side in terms of cars. I drive an electric car, a Chevy Bolt. So I'm, more on the modest side there. But I love yoga. Yoga's kind of my jam. We've got 2 golden retrievers, so I spend a lot of time with them at the ocean. It's
nice.
Fairly chill. I go through cycles with hobbies. Probably 6 or 7 years ago, I was into skydiving. That was kind of my thing. That's what I was doing.
Nice.
But calm down as we got married and had our 2 baby dogs, and it's like, okay, other stuff to do in life.
Did your husband get you to go to the shooting range?
He does. Actually, there's a story there as well. So when we were first dating, and I was deathly afraid of guns, and because everyone hypes up how scary they are, and you think in your mind it's just going to jump up and start shooting random things. And so the first time we went to the range, it was in Washington, and I remember he was like trying to get me to go. We finally went, and I was sitting in the car and I was crying because I couldn't bear the thought of going in there and holding a gun and shooting it. It was just too much for me. So we actually had to postpone and come back a week later. Wow. He finally got me to go into the range. And I loved it. It was great. And, once you learn about something, it's a little bit less scary. And so, being in Texas now, we have the opportunity to go there a bit more often. And it's just fascinating how much there is to learn in this field. And
yeah, I haven't shot. I'm like a terrible veteran. Like I haven't shot my pistol in like 2 years. I need to, though. Living in New Jersey, the gun laws are insane. Like you can't carry a CCW, concealed weapon. It's like one of the only states, I think. So I can't do that. I can't even buy a gun. You have to like go down to the sheriff's office, get your fingerprints, and then there's a wait list right now of 3 to 4 months. So I can't buy any. I don't even think I can buy ammo or any guns in New Jersey. Even if I go over to Pennsylvania, over the border, I've gone to a couple gun shows. I can buy ammo, but I can't buy a weapon because they'll see that I live in New Jersey. So that's another reason I want to get out of New Jersey.
Man, it's awesome here in Texas. I do have to shill my favorite gun because I'm a huge Stargate fan. Hence my VGX hero of Colonel Samantha Carter. And I was at the range and someone had a PS90, which is the gun they use in the show. I'm like, oh, let me try it, and it's the most amazing rifle to shoot. It's just
nice.
Quiet, no recoil. I tried my husband's AR-15. It was very intense. I'm like, okay, that's a lot for me to handle. I can handle the PS90.
That's awesome. Cool. Well, yeah, I definitely appreciate you coming on. You got any final last words or thoughts or anything?
No, I mean, just thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to chat, and thank you everyone for hopping into the chat and asking questions. And I just love the engagement that we have on Twitter. I love crypto Twitter. I love the crypto community. And keep doing the good stuff. Follow your channel, I subscribe, and I love the videos that are coming out, and just seeing you grow and flourish is fantastic.
Yeah, for sure. We'd love to have you on, a couple of months from now, just to see where we're at. And who knows? I just think the next 2-3 months are going to be insane for the crypto space.
Yeah, for sure. And when we launch our mobile app, definitely, I want to come on and talk a bit about that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, keep me posted with all the permission stuff. I'm definitely interested in it. All right. All right, guys. Thank you guys all for joining. On your way out, I always say it, don't forget to smash that thumbs up button. Helps with the algorithm. It really does. Subscribe if you aren't subscribed, and turn on bell notifications. There's analytics for that. And the YouTube analytics that I have, you can spend like a whole day going into like your YouTube analytics and whatnot, but it's crazy. But yeah, I really appreciate you coming on here. We'll definitely have you on here soon, and have a great night.
Awesome. Thanks, you too. Cheers, everyone.
See you guys.